Thakur is the last of the 12 essays. So, I don't know, we may not be able to finish also today. It's still long. Long. Anyhow, so you remember what was yesterday so far. Yeah, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was just giving descriptions about grihastha stuff, different descriptions on the conducts of grihasthas. And these are based on Mahaprabhu, the conduct of Mahaprabhu and his followers. So one in relation to marriage and how to maintain family. Yeah, you remember? Then in relation to education, in relation to serving guests, in relation to virtuous qualities. Now we continue. It said, well, speaking about the true beauty of householders, Srimad Mahaprabhu said, Prabhu kahe Krishna seva Vaishnav sevana nirantara karo Krishna naam sankirtana. From Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad 8th chapter. This means that the actual duty, the dharma of householders is to maintain one's body by collecting whatever money is necessary through lawful means. That we already mentioned yesterday. So, again, he's mentioning that, like Mahaprabhu has said, the actual duty of householders is maintaining the body by collecting whatever money necessary, but by lawful means. And with the help of family members, serve Sri Krishna and the Vaishnavas, and engage in the constant performance of Nam Sankirtan. So, very simple actually. He said, okay, you can collect whatever is necessary, but in a lawful way. And so then, aside from that, what to do? Well, everyone in the family should serve Krishna and the Vaishnavas, and always engage in Nam Sankirtan, like this. So he said Krishna Seva, Vaishnava Seva, and Nirantar Krishna Nam Sankirtan. There's three things. Regarding the service of Vaishnavas, it should be known that non-duplicious Vaishnavas are of three types. So he actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he qualifies them. He's saying, okay, you serve Vaishnavas, but serving which type of Vaishnavas? The Niskapat, non-duplicious. And there are three kinds of them. Three types of Nishkapat Vaishnavas, non-duplicious Vaishnavas. There's the Uttam, Madhyam, and Kanishta. Service to these three types of Vaishnavas is alone Vaishnava Seva. Okay. It is improper to invite a gathering of Vaishnavas. Whenever a Vaishnava comes, he should be affectionately served in an appropriate manner. If one assembles many Vaishnavas, the chances of making offenses are greater. You understand that? We actually warn. Sometimes people make a show that, oh, we serve Vaishnavas. And so then they invite invite so many Vaishnavas. But this is the thing, you have to serve Vaishnavas appropriately and with much affection. So there's three types of Vaishnavas. So especially the Uttam, you have to serve them accordingly as Uttam. Not that everything equal. So usually some people just to make a show that, oh, we are so great, we're serving Vaishnavas and we're inviting so many. Then the way they're treating, like some Vaishnavas, will not be proper. It's not appropriate. The thing is, like in the mats, this we always practice, like following proper etiquette. You know, like sometimes when we're new, we don't know many of these things, but it's very important. This is the ornament of a Vaishnava. Like you will know one Vaishnava, or you will. When you say ornament, it's something that makes someone attractive, right? When someone's wearing ornament, then they become attractive, like this. Vaishnavas are attractive, and because they have this ornament. What is that? No, they're very humble and they follow proper etiquette, like this. So like we're staying in the month, for example, then you can see like how the Vaishnavas are following like properly, like etiquette. So you will see like there's always honor as far as like seniority, you know. Of course, Vaishnavas are very humble and they won't even say, but sometimes we have to tell so that you'll know how to properly. Like for example, in any, let's say in any like endeavors, like let's say like taking prasadam, for example. You always set aside the first row for the most senior ones, like this. Of course, some say like, oh, there's no seniority, like because some may be young, but they're like more advanced spiritually because maybe in their past life they already practiced. But still, very necessary as far as like external, also you follow. Let's say, like here in our generations, there are those who are in the generation of like same as Srila Gurudev. You know, they are, let's say, God brothers of your Guru. You see in the example of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu, his Gurudev is Ishwarpuri. During when he was living in Jagannath Puri, God brothers of Ishwarpuri Pad are there, and Mahaprabhu would always honor them first, like and respect them like his Gurudev, like this. So there's always this like appreciation. Oh, they're my senior. So here also we have all like senior Vaishnavas. Like Prabhuji here is a disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So before like Aarti, for example, then aside after the sannyasis, then like all the seniors first. Don't just give to anyone. In the same way, there's in the month there are like brahmacharis taking red cloth. Then we honor before like everyone else also goes in white, like this. So like this, these are simple things, but there's in this way you're being you're following all this the principle of the proper etiquette. When you go parikrama, you know, and I know like especially new people, they're very enthusiastic, they don't know all these things. So then they go before everyone else. So you should see like, oh, first, like my seniors, all the red cloth brahmacharis first, like this, all the sannyasis and like first, before me, like this. When offering Aarti, Guru Puja, I'm like this, then first see, before you try to go take for you, all this, my seniors first, like this. So in this way, you are properly like respecting, honoring. So here, Bhaktivinoda he was telling, oh, you're serving Vaishnavas appropriately, like according to their qualifications. So when someone invite like Vaishnavas, so many, and in that way it will be difficult to like serve them nicely because there's just so many of them, and then sometimes there's maybe Uttam Adhikaris, they'll come. There's no place to sit. You just let them sit with, you know, like with the Kanishta Adhikaris or like that. So you're not properly respecting them. So therefore, also Kanishtas they cannot see. They cannot see who's Uttam. Sometimes the Kanishta they think they're Uttam, like this. Well, on the other hand, the Uttam, they're like very humble. They see everyone else also as like Uttam, as pure devotees, like this. So there's no way for them to check, like all the kanishtas. They doing that, but the madhyam they know, they can tell. But so especially this instruction for the kanishtas. We have to serve like Vaishnavas, but be careful. Don't just like show a grand service like, oh, I'm serving everyone and I'm doing like this, and in this way you end up like even like offending them. Like I remember we were invited one time for some feast in one temple, not need to mention where, and so then we were there. And because we're foreigners, then they become angry with us, like when we're sitting with the devotees, and hey, don't sit there, like go there, like that. And there were also some sannyasis with us also, like, and so then we were thinking, should we just go or not? But anyway, like we were already there. And so then we just went to the side. So, like, of course, for us, we should not feel like bad because that's us. We should be Trinata Viswanishena. But what if, like some of us are like Uttam Adhikaris? Then they commit aparad like this. So it will not be good for them. So this is what understand. That's why he's saying like don't try to like make big feast for everyone. Here we're not. You may say, oh, what are you doing here at Radhikund? You're doing all this big feast every day. But we're not inviting everyone. We're doing the feast and like everyone comes accordingly. It's not like really you're inviting everyone come like this. So he said, whenever a Vaishnava comes, he should be affectionately served in an appropriate manner. If one assembles many Vaishnavas, the chances of making offenses are greater. And that's why you want to invite Vaishnavas, only choose, like someone like that you know that you have capacity to really serve. Bahut sannyasi jari aishli eka thar. Samana kuriti nari aparadha pai. If many sannyasis come together in one place, all of them cannot be honored and offenses will be committed. It is the duty of householder Vaishnavas to be merciful toward the wretched and distressed, who are to never attempt suicide, whether out of anger or with the aim of attaining a virtuous goal. Understand that? It is duty of householder Vaishnavas, to be merciful toward the wretched and the distressed, who are to never attempt suicide.
Who is who? Vaishnava?
Yeah, wait, I'm trying to understand this. He said it is the duty of householder Vaishnavas to be merciful toward the wretched and distressed, who are to never attempt suicide, whether out of anger or with the aim of attaining virtuous goal. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't make sense, huh? There's something missing here. For one, it says, who are to never attempt suicide? Who should never attempt suicide? The guest or the Vaishnava? The householder. Okay. And it says, whether out of anger or with the aim of attaining a virtuous goal. Sorry, I don't know what this is. Let's skip this part. He said, and as long the quality of ignorance is dominant in a person, he is unqualified to receive the mercy of Bhagavan. I said suicide is an act in the mode of ignorance. And as long as the quality of ignorance is dominant in a person, he is unqualified to receive the mercy of Bhagavan. In the realm of Krishna Bhajan, the consideration of junior and senior exists. Here. So, I was just mentioning, some people may say, like here in Bhakti, like, there's no seniority or like that. Right? Because someone may say, like, oh, he's now young, but in his previous life he could be like already advanced. And now he may be young, but he's actually senior. But he says here, in the realm of Krishna Bhajan, the consideration of junior and senior exists, but not caste and familial lineage. Okay, seniority not based on that caste and like familial lineage. What's familial lineage? They may say like, oh, he's from the bloodline of Lord Nityananda. They may say, oh, he's from the bloodline of Rupa Goswami. Or Rupa Goswami has no kids or like this. Like this. So some may say like that. So seniority is not based on that. Actually, seniority is based on whether really you are a member of the family of, like Mahaprabhu. So it's like the guru is like the father. The disciples are the children. It's the same like that. That's our family. And those with the children of the senior gurus, then they're to be honored like, oh, they're a senior, that is. In worldly dharma, the qualification to perform certain activities is in accordance with one's varna. Varna meaning? What example of varna? One meaning? No, but example, 4 varnas.
Brahmana.
Brahma, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. So he said, in worldly dharma, the qualification to perform certain activities is in accordance with one's varna. So that is your qualification to perform certain activities. Like, for example, you're qualified to, they say, do yajna. Why? Because your varna is a Brahman. Like this. You're qualified to maybe, like administer, because you're a Kshatriya. Okay, so then, he said, okay, so it's based on one's varna. But there are no such distinction in relation to Bhagavat Bhajan. What does it mean? When it comes to bhakti, you cannot say, oh, you're not qualified to do bhakti because you're Sudra. Or you're not qualified to do bhakti, or he's the only qualified to do bhakti because he's Brahman. No. Understand? In worldly matters, there is not such thing as that qualification. You're qualified to do certain things because of your varna. But with regards to Bhagavad Bhajan, to bhakti, everyone is qualified. Understand? Even animals, they can do Bhagavad Bhajan if they get the mercy of the devotees. Or like Mahaprabhu, the tigers and the lions and the elephants, then they chant Harinam like this. Okay, so then, Nitya Jati Nahi Krishna Bhajane Ajogya. Satkula Vipra Nahi Bhajanera Jogya. Jai Bhaje Se Baro Abhakta Hina Chara Krishna Bhajane Nahi Jati Kuladi Vichar. Birth in a low family is no disqualification for the execution of Krishna Bhajan. Following? Birth in a low family, this is not a disqualification for execution of Krishna Bhajan. And birth in a family of Brahmanas is no qualification for it. Okay, so high birth also is not the qualification for Krishna Bhajan. Anyone who performs bhajan is exalted. That is to be understood. Anyone who performs bhajan, they're always honored as exalted. Whereas one who does not do bhajan is condemned and abominable. In the discharge of Krishna Bhajan, there is no consideration of the status of one's family lineage or socio-cultural background. Okay, that's clear. And so, best example, who's the best example for this? Haridas Thakur. That's why he's Namacharya. He's showing that example. He was born in a Muslim family, so Muslim considered like low outcasts like this. They don't belong to the any varna. So, but he was even honored by Mahaprabhu as Namacharya. Why? Because he was chanting every day. That's his whole life, only chanting Harinam. Like this. And inspiring everyone. So, Grihastha Vaishnavas should be satisfied with whatever they have secured with little endeavor for their daily requirements. Is there? Grihastha Vaishnavas should be satisfied with whatever they have secured with little endeavor. So he said, with little endeavor. He's saying like, oh, they also work for the endeavor for acquiring things, but little. And with that little thing, they should be satisfied. Not like, oh, so much endeavor, like all the time, and barely doing like Krishna Bhajan because like doing, but still also not satisfied. So he said, they only do little endeavor for their daily requirements. Sabahite Bhagyavanta Shri Saka Vyanjana Puna Puna Jaha Prabhu Karena Grahana. This is from Chaitanya Bhagavad. It says, most fortunate of all the preparations were the spinach and vegetables, because the Lord accepted them again and again. How did we go to this verse? Now it just goes to the verse that of all the vegetables that's prepared, yeah, it's simple, huh? He said, the most fortunate of all the preparations. They're the most fortunate because they're the ones Mahaprabhu taking like this. And what is that? Spinach and vegetables. Like this. The shak and so, and he said, because the Lord accepted them again and again, and not just once, two, but again and again. So knowing Krishna to be Sarveshwar, or the master of all, householder Vaishnavas are to eagerly perform one-pointed Bhagavad Bhajan. Additionally, they must not disrespect the demigods worshipped by Smartas and other philosophical schools, sampradayas. Okay, so here it's also being mentioned. We don't worship demigods. We don't worship, but we should not disrespect. We should not disrespect demigods because we know that they are also servants of Krishna. So, householder Vaishnavas should faithfully serve Tulsi and chant Harinam while keeping Tulsi nearby. Householders who possess bhakti are praiseworthy, whereas householders who do not are unfortunate. So this is the consideration. Who is the lucky householder and who is an unfortunate one? So those who have bhakti, they are fortunate. Those who have no bhakti, unfortunate householders. They may be the richest householders, but without bhakti, they are unfortunate. There's nothing. When householders have worldly dealings, they do so while taking shelter of Krishna Nam. Found that? Remember that? When householders have worldly dealings, okay, so householders they're into this like business and others, so they have to deal with like many people in the world. But he said they do so while taking shelter of Krishna Nam. And in this way they're protected. In this regard, the character of a Mahajan named Kalidas is exemplary. So now he's given an example for this. So there is a person named Kalidas. Mahabhagavateho sarala udar Krishna naam sankete chalaya vyavahar. Shaka Kilaya, Hare Krishna, Kodi, Pashaka Shalaya. Kalidas, being a most exalted devotee, was simple and munificent. He would chant Krishna Nam in his normal dealings. As a joke, he would throw dice and exclaim, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. No Vaishnava should earn unlawfully or spend wastefully. This is already the third time in mentioning. So this is already the third time he's mentioning this. That no Vaishnava should earn unlawfully or spend wastefully. And because this is the thing. If you get things unlawfully and you have abundant, then what happened? You will also spend wastefully. Like this. So extravagant. Those who are employed should not accept bribes. Yeah. Those who are employed, they should not accept bribes. This is very common. Householder must always be careful to perform activities through which offenses in service, seva aparad, will not arise. If one commits an aparad to a Vaishnava because of the influence of illusion, then one should fall at the feet of that Vaishnava and carefully, and in this way you be careful not by your activity, the seva aparad will not arise. So seva aparad, no? Seva aparad generally referring to your services to Bhagavan or his devotees. As far as how you're serving them, you may commit some seva aparad. Example, seva aparad, like coming inside the temple wearing shoes like this. What else? So many are there. Riding on a palanquin, going to the temple. But who does that now? So, what else are there? Yeah, sitting with your back, And you will see all these rules. Also, creating a scene in front of Thakurji. Instead of people being focused on Thakurji, they become focused on why? Because you started crying or dancing, like this. Or making so much noise. So these are offense. Passing air in front of Thakurji or in front of the devotees, like that. Like all these things, these are like seva aparad. So many are there. You can read all these rules there. But it is said that this seva aparad, of course, we have to be careful not to do, but these are easy to remove. Like Krishna easily will forgive you. He knows that this boy is stupid. And you ask forgiveness. He will, especially you chant name, he will forgive you. Where he understands our situation like that. So you just ask forgiveness. But if you think no problem, this seva part not so serious, I will just chant after I commit, and then Krishna will forgive me. Then it becomes now aparad, because it's like sitting on the string of the name, like this. So you have to be serious, not to do. But in a case really you commit, then that's easily forgivable. You just have to ask forgiveness. Like that. So seva aparad, he said, in reality seva aparad, that's easy to be forgiven. But we are warned, nama aparad. This is the real danger. This we should be very careful. Nama aparad. And foremost of this, number one, we know is what? Sadhu ninda, Vaishnava aparad, like this. Hanti, Nindanti, Vaidushti, Krudati, Abhinanjati, Naharsha. Like 6, no? Hanti meaning to beat or to kill, that's the worst. But actually there's 6 of them in different degrees, but they all fall in the same category, the Vaishnava aparad. What is that? Like to beat, to inflict pain. And worse is rape, to murder, like this. The Vaishnava or the Sadhu. Ninda, to criticize, to blaspheme by your words there. Like this. Then then to become envious to Vaishnava, then to become angry at them. Then what else? To not welcome them. Becoming. Actually, you should be happy. It's very rare for Vaishnava to come. Vaishnava is very rare. But when they come and you will not welcome them, this is very big offense. And so that is that same category. And the last one is to not become happy just by seeing them. That's in the same category. You may welcome, or they may come and you welcome them, but you're actually not happy seeing them. That is the same. So, because really, who will not be happy to see a Vaishnava? Really, someone who is like envious or So then Krishna will see that. Krishna will take the offense. Nam will take the offense. That's why it's called Namaparad. You're doing these things, Krishna, the Nam, will take the offense. And therefore, even if you're chanting, that chanting is Namaparad. Your chanting will be Namaparad. That's why you're chanting, you say Namaparad. Because it will not please, your chanting does not please Krishna, will not call Krishna. Krishna will not hear, because Krishna takes offense from your activity. The Vaishnava is the foremost giver, distributor of this Nam, and you're offending him. The Vaishnava may not take offense, but Nam will take offense. And therefore, Shuddha Nam can never come like this. So, especially this first one, this Namaparad, first of the Namaparad, this Vaishnava Linga, you do this, it is said that this can totally destroy your progress in bhakti. It's not only like, sometimes, actually before my idea is that if you commit an offense, the word aparad, you know the meaning of the word aparad, right? When you say offense, but like literally, aparad, the word rata means affection. Apa means to be far away. So any activities that puts you far away from building that affection, or getting that affection, is aparad, like this. So sometimes my idea was that if you're doing an aparad, let's say you're doing bhakti, you're progressing, then let's say you're constructing a house, for example. You already have basement and now first floor, second floor, like that. You do an aparad, your construction stops, cannot continue like this. So, but then, okay, if later on you're forgiven, then you can continue your construction again, like this. That's my idea before. But actually, our Guru Bhaga has explained, and you can read this in Madhyaga Nabini and even in, especially Harinam Chintamani. Very nice discussions there on Harinam. So it says that especially this first one, the most serious, that's why it's called the elephant offense. Because it's not just it will stop, and then later on you can continue. It said it will be destroyed, totally destroyed. And then if that's destroyed, even let's say you're forgiven, it will be like, okay, starting from beginning again. And a lot of people, they have really, it gives a very hard time to again start like this. So this is very dangerous. That's why it's called the elephant offense. Like you have a nice garden for like, let's say 20 years, or let's say for like 100 lifetimes. You build, finally you have this very nice garden, like that. And then you invite one elephant, come, like this. You heard someone, hey, you know what happened? Oh, this Vaishnava like this, really? Then you invite this elephant, and hearing all these offenses, like, oh, like this. And then there was, oh, this is like this. What happened? Completely destroyed now your garden, like this. And then you don't be surprised. From that time, no more attraction to Harinam. You won't be attracted. All your enthusiasm is gone, like this. Not just that. Actually, if you commit aparad, all the affection of the Vaishnavas also will disappear. Everyone will not be affectionate to you anymore, like this. So be very careful. Like, so here he's saying that he said, if one commits an aparad to a Vaishnava because of the influence of illusion, and usually that's how we blame like everyone. We blame like, oh, I'm in Maya, so that's why by influence of Maya I commit this aparad. Then then one should fall at the feet of that Vaishnava and immediately beg for forgiveness. As soon as you realize that, oh, I've done something wrong, then don't waste any more, don't wait a second, immediately run. This is very serious, this is a very serious thing. That you're gonna just like, tomorrow I'll ask forgiveness. You know, who knows, by tomorrow, like no more. You know, it's like you missed a chance. So you should take it like right now, immediately run to the Vaishnava, fall at his feet and ask for forgiveness, beg forgiveness. And he said, otherwise the result of that aparad, very terrible. So, and also, you know, it's very easy to do some drama. Like anyone can also just cry and say, "Oh, sorry, forgive me," like that. So one important thing is that also, as long as one has no remorse, you're not feeling really real remorse, like sorry, you may ask for forgiveness, and even if that Vaishnava has forgiven you, still you will not be purified. It says like that. You are not purified from that offense unless really you're like feeling the remorse. And because, okay, that Vaishnava may have forgiven you because you asked forgiveness, but there is no remorse. Then very soon you'll be committing the same aparad again. You'll be because really like you're not purified from that. So he said, oh, one should fall at the feet of the Vaishnava. The primary activity of a householder is to serve devotees. For serving devotees increases one's bhakti. So this is again repetition, and yes, we can understand. In Kali Yuga, things have to be repeated because we always forget. So already before, like Mahaprabhu telling, serving Vaishnava, serving Krishna, and always chanting Nam. So here again, repeating, he said the primary activity of householders is to serve devotees. Why? Because serving devotees increases one's bhakti. Bhakta paraduli ar bhakta padajal bhakta bhukta avashesha etina sadhanet val. From Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says the dust of the lotus feet of devotees, the foot dust, the water that washes their lotus feet, meaning the Charitamrita, and the remnant, meaning the prasad, give immense strength to the sadhaka in their practice of bhakti. So these are three very powerful source of power for sadhakas. You know, like you can get power. Many people, like kids, they like to play video game, and so many of those games, like they get some power, and then they become strong and strong and strong. So you can think like that. Oh, these three things make you very powerful. Foot dust of the Vaishnavas, the Charanamrita, and their prasadam. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Krishna has spoken about how a householder devotee is to behave as long as he is not completely dedicated and his desires for sense gratification have not been thoroughly destroyed. Okay, so this is another case. He said, how about those householder devotee, if he's not completely dedicated yet, he's not in that any sincere devotee, sometimes he can see that how, if really he is completely dedicated or not. And if he still have all these desires for sense gratification. This desires for sense gratification not yet destroyed, not thoroughly destroyed. Okay, so what to do? So Bhaktivinoda said in Bhagavatam, 11th canto, this is from the 20th chapter, these verses, two verses that Krishna has spoken. This talks about how to behave, householders should behave. While if they're not completely dedicated yet, and their sense gratification, desire for sense gratification has not been thoroughly destroyed. So it says, Jata Shraddho Mat Katasu Nirvina Sarva Karmashu Jeda Dukhat Makan Karnan Kaman Parityage Api Anishvara Tato Vajeta Mam Pita Shradhalur Dridha Nischaya Jusa Manascha Tan Kaman Dukho Darkamscha Garbhayan. A sadhaka who has developed faith in narrations about me and who is disgusted with all kinds of fruitive activity, karma, may still be unable to give up material enjoyment. Okay, so that's the situation now. He has faith in bhakti. He has faith in the narrations of Bhagavan, and narrations about his pastimes and everything. And he's disgusted with all these like fruitive activities. But he may still be unable to give up material enjoyment and the desire for such enjoyment. So there's all these desires in him for such enjoyment, and he's not able to give up. So he said, knowing that such so-called pleasures are actually sources of misery, he should condemn himself while attempting to enjoy them. So you cannot give up. You're still not that strong. Meaning there's some weakness there's still that weakness. So he said, okay, well you are still trying to enjoy, because you cannot give it up. You're doing that in that mood that actually this is from my weakness of heart. I'm attached to this. I'm doing, but really this is a source of misery, and I'm very bad for doing this. You're doing in that mood, condemning himself while doing. And so then Krishna said, therefore, in due course of time, he may be able to worship me with love, faith, and fixed determination. But after some time, you'll give up, because now you actually, there's a difference. Before you just jump into the sense gratification. But then now you're doing that, but with some feeling of condemnation. Oh, this is very bad. Why I'm doing like this? After some time, you will not do it anymore, really. So after developing faith, a householder is to accept initiation into Krishna mantra. But if this is not like telling that, don't worry, you do it and you feel like this, but you chant and later on you'll be okay, you'll be purified. So then you can again do like this. We're not doing like this, huh? Otherwise, then this will be like Namaparat. You're sitting on the string like this. So after developing faith, Shraddha, a householder is to accept initiation into Krishna mantra, because only the faithful are qualified to become devotees. They must possess the following 26 qualities. So here, when a devotee, like a householder, already develops faith, then he can take diksha. He accepts Krishna mantra. Because really, that is the only qualification really. What is the qualification for diksha? Only this faith. And so then they become qualified to become devotees if they have this faith. So then, if one gets diksha, he becomes a devotee, then it said he will have these 26 qualities. So it says, Kripalu, Aprita Dhruva, Satyasar Sama, Nirdosha, Vadanya, Mridu, Shuchi, Akinchana, Sarva, Karaka, Shanta, Krishnaika, Sharana, Akama, Niriha, Shtira, Vijita, Sadguna, Mita Bhuk, Apramata, Manada, Amani, Gambhira, Karuna, Maitra, Kavi, Daksha, Mauni. 26 qualities. Vaishnavas are Kripalu, merciful. Then Droha, not obstinate. What is obstinate? Stubborn. Okay. Merciful, not obstinate, not stubborn, completely truthful, not biased, without fault, benevolent, even tempered. Even tempered meaning not hot-headed. No. Clean, or like he sees everyone equal. Clean and possessionless. They work to bring about auspiciousness of all and are peaceful. Then surrender to Sri Krishna. He has without material desires, indifferent to material gain, and steady. They have conquered the 6 material qualities, meaning lust, anger, greed, and so on. They eat only as much as required, and they are sober, respectful, without false prestige, grave, compassionate, friendly, poetic, masterful, and silent. So these are qualities of devotees, 26. But understand, these qualities has one of the 26. There's the primary and there's the secondary one. You know which one is the primary of this 26? Which one? Yeah, this Krishnaika Sharan. There's so many of this Kripalu, Akadroha, and so on. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The number 12 in the list as in the verse. Krishnaika Sharan, meaning surrendered to those to Krishna. He is already fully surrendered to Krishna. This is the main quality of a Vaishnava. He may have all these other qualities, but this missing, that will not make him really as a true Vaishnava yet. Because the other ones, like merciful and so on, they can be with like anyone else also, but this Krishnaika Sharan, like fully surrendered to Krishna, that cannot just be to anyone. That's only to the devotee. So that's the primary quality. And therefore, sometimes we are warned. Like in this verse, Apichet Suduracharano, like in that verse, it said, someone may be behaving like very bad. Meaning all this, as mentioned, 26 qualities. Many of them may not be there. But that main quality, which is he surrendered to Krishna, Krishnaika Sharan, it is there. Then he should be considered a Vaishnava, or like a sadhu. And if you offending him or blaspheming that person, that will be of that category of sadhu ninda. So, householder Vaishnavas should associate with sadhus because Krishna Bhakti is manifested and nourished in such association. Okay, this whole thing was already discussed in the previous essay. By association with the sadhus, then Krishna Bhakti is manifest and nourished. Although sadhana bhakti consists of 64 limbs, and one ought to follow those limbs according to one's capacity, an effort must be made to specifically follow ninefold devotional service, the Navala Bhakti, and fivefold devotional service, Panchada Bhakti. Understand? Arupa Goswami, he has categorized, like the different angas of Bhakti. He mentioned 64 limbs. If Bhakti is like a person or like an entity, then he has, or let's say a tree. That tree has many branches. So like 64. That's how it's composed. It's like the part of the body of bhakti. It's 64 different activities. So he said, among those, there should be an effort. He said, yeah, we're all to follow the 64, but there should be an effort to specifically follow 9 of this, and especially the 5. And really, actually this 64, all these in the 64, they can fall as subcategories really of the 9. If you look, any of these 64, they can be in any of the 9 also, you know. And then there's a 5. So, Bhaktivinoda was quoting a verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. It said, Sadhu Sangha Nam Kirtan Bhagavad Shravan Maturava Shri Murtiyara Shradhaya Seva Sakala Sadhana Shrishta E Panchanga Krishna Prema Janma E Panjer Alpa Sangha. One is to associate with devotees. So these are the 5 ones. You know the 9, no? Navada Bhakti. Like the one Prahlad Maharaj mentioned. What are they? Ramanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Satyam, Dasyam, Manivedanam. 9 already? Okay. So there's 9, no? But then here he said 5 foremost. So he said 1 is to associate with devotees, chant Harinam. Here Srimad Bhagavatam. So we say, so associate with devotees, that's Sadhu Sangha. Chant Harinam, that's Nam Kirtan. Here Srimad Bhagavatam, so that's Bhagavad Shravan. Recite in Mathura Mandal. So here we say Mathura Mandal, we're talking about this whole Braj Mandal. So that's Mathura Vas. And serve the deity with great faith. That is Sri Murtira Shradhaya Sevana. He said of all the types of sadhana, these 5 limbs are best for even slightly performing. One of them awakens Krishna prema. So he said even slightly performing one of them, this has the power to awaken Krishna prema. So these 5, these are like very powerful. So 1 is to gradually diminish his state of performing Vaidhi Bhakti and enter Raganuga Bhakti. So this is like a big topic actually. So he said 1 is to gradually diminish his state of performing Vaidhi Bhakti and enter Raganuga Bhakti. What does that mean? You have to diminish performing Vaidhi Bhakti and enter into Raganuga Bhakti. So now these 2 terms has been mentioned now, Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. What's the difference? What's the difference? When you say Vaidhi Bhakti, that's only performing this Bhakti out of performing the rules, you know. So actually this 64 angas, following this is Vaidhi Bhakti. These are the rules you're following. But then you have to diminish that like, oh, I'm just following the rules. You have to follow this actually based on the desire that I want to have like the rag, the deep attachment of the ragatnik, like Brajbasis. Like those in the associates of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, their very Atma is just composed of that so deep attachment to Krishna. This is called the rag, very spontaneous attachment. So you also you want. Now this can only come if you have association of someone who's in that mood also. You know, mostly people following bhakti is either because, and especially those who have no association with high class, let's say British Basis or Raganuga Bhaktas. They're following Bhakti mostly because they're afraid that they go to hell or something bad will happen. So they see, if I don't do Bhakti, then my life will not be good. Scripture is telling I should do Bhakti. So, and Scripture is telling this is Bhakti like this. So they're following Bhakti based on that. But when you actually meet an actual person who's showing you, this is the situation in Vrindavan, in Braj. Bhagavan is the sweetest person, most lovely, like this. These are their activities. Oh, very nice activities. Then this greed will come in your heart. Like, I want to be there. I want to serve like them, like this. So it's not just anymore like, I'm following rules. Like, I want to be liberated from this world. I don't want to suffer like this. Or even that mood that, God is so great. I should worship Him. The Scripture said I should worship Him. Even that is not the motivation of your doing Bhakti. You're doing Bhakti is because I want to be like those who have, those associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. Like this. They don't even see Krishna as God. Like this. He is just the most lovable person. Like this. So I want to serve like them. So if you're doing like that, that means Rag Anuga. You're following according to the moods of those who are like the Ragatmik, and those associates who have Rag in their heart. You should know that I don't have this. Right now I am not like them, but I want to like this. And so even if and they say for Raganuga the only qualification really is greed. That there's that so much like strong desire. They say like, you're not qualified. So no, but I want to like this. And so then I will do. No, you're not qualified. So, no, I will still do. Like this. I want to and you break all the rules because you want. You just want to become like them. So he said, after deep attachment to Bhagavan has manifested, many vidhis, rules, go far away of their own accord. Okay, in the beginning, so many rules are there. And you may see, like very difficult bhakti, all these rules like that. But when attachment is there, very deep attachment, then he said all these rules, like gradually they just go away. Like this. Because for one, you don't see them anymore. You fully understand what is the purpose of this rule. Like this. In the beginning, you just see them as a regulation. I have to do. But later on, because you have this actual attachment, then you fully understand why this activity is being done, and you're actually tasting now the actual relation, by these activities, and therefore these rules for you they don't apply. It's like, these rules have gone away, and you don't see them anymore as rules. So in that stage, there is no need to perform purificatory activities or any other such things. Although the mind of a person who has entered Rag Marg is never inclined to perform sinful acts, if by chance he does so due to the influence of ignorance, Bhagavan will mercifully purify him. Householders should endeavor for jnana that is related to bhakti, or for vairagya that is caused by bhakti, and not for any other jnana or vairagya. Okay, so jnana and vairagya, they are considered to be the daughters of they're the kids of bhakti, no? Yeah, they're the kids of bhakti, jnana and vairagya. So he said, this jnana and vairagya, you only accept really householders if they're related to bhakti. Because why? Because there's this jnana that's not related to bhakti. That's jnana meaning this monastic like speculative knowledge, that kind of gyan, that has nothing to do, no relation to bhakti. This dry renunciation, that type we don't take. But yukta vairagya, that one, you practice. This is very long. I think we'll stop here. I'll just read this last verse, and this is like our bookmark. It says, Gyan Vairagyadi Bhaktir Karunai Anga Ahimsa Jama Niyamadi Ule Krishna Bhakti Sangha. Gyan and Vairagya are not limbs of Bhakti. Understand? So this is directly from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Mahaprabhu, I think Mahaprabhu is the one telling this. Jnana and Vairagya are not limbs of Bhakti. Non-violence, control of the mind and senses, the observance of certain regulations and so on are intrinsically present in Krishna Bhakti. Then, the householder Vaishnavas must give up the 10 types of namaprad and constantly chant Krishna Nam with faith. By this, one achieves Krishna prema. So, we'll begin with this one next time. We probably are not even to class, and then we'll continue with this class. We'll begin from here. He's telling that householder Vaishnavas should give up the 10 namaprads and constantly chanting Krishna Nam. And this way, Krishna prema comes. Okay, so we stop here now. Jai Shri Gurudev, Jai Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri